Missouri opens defense of their SEC East title today as they host South Dakota State. If the Tigers want to avoid the upsets that have become all too common to Power 5 conference teams, the Tigers will need to jump on the Jackrabbits early. The 2 wins today kept the Bulldogs' season alive. However, the challenge becomes even greater tomorrow as Truman must defeat their season nemesis, UMSL, twice in one day after doing so only once this whole season. Reporting in Kirksville, Ryan Ronan, KTVO Sports. Missouri, like the majority of the teams in the SEC, is looking to replace huge chunks of their team lost from last season. Unlike other teams in the league, however, the Tigers return a quarterback with playing experience in Matty Mock. On Friday, the Kirksville Orange and Black Foundation opened their gates to the 3rd Hall of Fame class in Kirksville history. 3 individuals were honored: Michael Richardson.
Obviously, it was a great honor.
Robert Rosenbaum.
I was surprised.
And Barry Pockrent.
I was very surprised.
Joining those players are their entire 1980 team that finished the season with a 9-1 record and spent 2 weeks ranked inside the state top 10.
We had a lot of dedicated athletes. They were out there pushing one another every day in practice.
All 3 of those players were also honored as all-state members. It is the only time in Kirksville football history they've had that many players selected.
There's no way we would have had a winning team without the whole group of 22 seniors, the juniors and sophomores as well, but really a great group of guys who stuck together for 3 years. That was the key to the success of our team, and I think the key to the success of most Kirksville teams. With
players like Richardson, Rosenbaum, and Pockrent, and under the direction of 2013 Hall of Fame inductee Jerry Meyer, the Tigers scored a school record 221 points. The day ended with the new members being honored at halftime. Ironically enough, one of the biggest accomplishments of that 1980 team was they ended a 73-year losing streak to Marshall. Kirksville was on the field tonight trying to beat the Owls for their first win of the season. Early on, this one was a defensive struggle as Kevin Kincannon and some of his buddies combined to take down Zach Malpin. Marshall was the first team to get the offense going as they cashed in on a long drive aided by some Kirksville penalties. Looking for more, Marshall goes for 2 and gets it on the conversion. Marshall goes up 8-0 late in the first quarter. Best offense for Kirksville early was kick returning of McKenna Cook. This kick followed the previous touchdown as he set up the Tigers in great field position. TJ Schilling then finds Jake Hughes, and that pass was better than the camera work as the Tigers start to move the ball. After that drive stalled out on 4th down, Marshall took over, and Malpin looking deep and finds his man Logan Harris, who outjumps, outmuscles, and then outruns the Tiger defense for a 73-yard pass and catch. 14-zip Owls. Kirksville came right back as Joe Solars gets down and gets both hands under the ball for the nice grab. But again on 4th down, the drive stalled as Schilling is sacked, and that was it for the Tigers offense. Solars picked up a nice piece of revenge as he outjumps the Marshall offense and comes down with a pick on this play. But that would be about all the highlights for Kirksville as they fall to 0-4 with a 29-6 loss to Marshall. The game of football has 3 phases. Everyone knows the glitz and glamour of offense.
Touchdown! Bulldogs!
Some people still remember the pleasure and pain of defense. But who knows punting? I'll tell you who. Truman State, and more specifically Jacob Lamp. In his first year as a starter, Lamp was named first team All-GLVC and had the 4th highest per kick average in the storied history of the Bulldog program. Every dad or family teaches their kids like how to play football, how to run, how to catch and throw. Where did you learn how to punt? I mean, that's not something my dad could have taught me.
Well, I was somewhat of a self-taught my senior year in high school. We basically had an open tryout for a punter because we didn't have someone to fill the spot, and I ended up winning the position. So all throughout high school, I really didn't know what I was doing very much anyways until I got to Truman, and the punter before me, Eric Phillips, taught me a lot about a lot of the mechanics, and he's basically been my coach the past 4 or 5 years.
I've always wondered, you were a great high school player, led your team in receptions and touchdowns your senior year. What made you decide to want to be a punter in college?
Well, ultimately, it was where I got my scholarship to play, so they're giving me money to do this because they feel that I can help the team. So, I mean, I was pretty good in high school, as all-state punter in high school, so I figured I could help at the college level as well.
I know you're a baseball player and a basketball player. They say when you hit a home run in baseball, you barely feel it hit the bat. When you hit that perfect jump shot, you feel it off your fingers. What does it feel like when you nail that perfect punt and you know it's going dead inside the 10?
It's pretty much the same thing. It's just like I like to compare it to golf when you're on the tee box and you hit a great drive right down the middle of the fairway. It's like that. You don't really you don't feel a lot when it happens. You just kind of go through the motions, and it's just, wow, that was a good punt.
Knapp knows that feeling well as he enters the final month of his career, second in the conference in punting. Reporting in Kirksville, Ryan Ronan, KTVO Sports.
The winner of the 2014 Division I Men's Golf Championship goes to Indian Hills Community College.
And here's how they did it. Jacob Garsnecki nearly drops the long putt here on 14. Coming even closer was his teammate George Trujillo, who finds a nice little spot between the two ridges. Closing out strong was Harrison Moore with a nice chip shot on 18 as he rolls it up and nearly hits the pin.
We played strong, hit the ball well, everybody hit the ball well, and finished out on top.
Well, we work hard for this, that's how we work. We work for this, and actually it feels great.
They're all different. The first one didn't feel like I thought it would feel 4 years ago. But then the second one, doing it with only one returner off the year before in 2011 when we won it, and a bunch of freshmen. It felt really good because you got to watch the guys mature right in front of you and grow, and that's kind of how I feel about this one. There's satisfaction.
This was the third national championship in 4 years for the Indian Hills golf program, a title they won this year by 16 strokes over second place Wallace State Community College. Leading the way for the Warriors this time around was a group of 4 freshmen, all 4 who finished with All-American honors. With all that returning talent, it's clear Indian Hills will be the odds-on favorite next season to win their 4th national championship under Coach Mike Hagan. Reporting in Burlington, Iowa, Ryan Ronan, KTVO Sports. Truman State had things rolling as Nicole Glore knocks down the jumper from outside. Bulldogs had the lead early on. Annie Armstrong trying to help the home team stay with it as she drops in 2 points of her own here. Casey Gaston-Smith with the pull-up jumper goes bank, keeps it Bulldogs with the slim lead. Shanika Shields gets a nice pass and drops in 2 points. Speaking of nice passes, Nicole Glore gets one here, drops it in for 2 points on the reverse layup. Amy Briggs showing the range late in the first half as she knocks down the three-pointer here. Nicole Glore going hard in the second half. She's in amongst of trees. Truman State would fall behind by 10 points, mainly due to the shots like this of Bethany Funderburk. However, the Bulldogs showed no fear as Bianca Safarowicz gets out and cuts the lead here with a nice move in the layup. Allie Norton drills the 3 here. Truman State had the lead. Annie Armstrong hits this shot to tie the game and send it to overtime. Bulldogs were unable to come up with enough points in the extra session and lost 74-68. Although the Truman ladies came up on the short end of the stick today, it was a very successful first year in the GLVC. The Bulldogs captured the conference title and made the NCAA tournament in their first year in one of the toughest Division II conferences in the country. We close out our fall football preview as we make our way out of the Tri-Rivers Conference. Milan has been in control of the TRC for years and seems to have everything in place to continue that run. The Wildcats have won 27 straight regular season games, and with their schedule for this season, they seem like they may be well on the way to extending that in 2013. The dominance often gets credit to the offense, but the Wildcats' defense allowed a total of 80 points in their 10 wins last season. They finished with a record of 10-1. However, that one loss has been costly, as Milan hasn't been able to translate regular season dominance into a district title, as they've hosted and lost the last 2 district title games. They also have been able to replace great talent and not lose a beat. This season, that task is steep as they lost TRC Player of the Year Aaron Richardson, starting quarterback Ryan Kuhn. The competition that Coach Dabney has created amongst his team enables them to replace vital players and keep the W's rolling in.
We can't woe is me and move on. I mean, we've got to continue trying to get better and just let these kids understand it's their turn now. There's been a lot of competition for them the last couple 3 years, and if you're third on a depth chart and now you've been second on a depth chart, it's been tough to get in there, and now it's your turn to get in there, and it's kind of your time. It's time to go out and take care of business.
What's next for Milan? They will likely replace starting quarterback Ryan Kuhn with Holden Stahlbomber. The defense will most likely remain a strong suit as they return defensive stud Bodie Eaglin, who had 20 tackles for a loss last season. The season opens up at Princeton and remains easy throughout, as the Wildcats' 2014 opponents only combined for 20 wins last season. Do I hear 28, 29, 30?